songs, let me tell you about a friend. It's Craig LeBlanc, where the good times never end. Talking Parks and Rec, it's a show you gotta know. Welcome one and all to the Daily Parks and Rec Show. It's the Daily Parks and Rec Show.
Started off, as a rec aide, working in the summer camps, and we would do different activities. That's where I found my passion and my love. I feel like the youth are our future, so we want to make sure that we pour into them, just be those role models that they can look up to, and be like, this is how I want to grow up to be, when I get older. So that's my passion. I love pouring into the youth.
All right, we are live again. This is Craig LeBlanc, your host of the Leadership Series, part of a DPRS Media Network, the Daily Parks and Rec Show family. We are a whole family of shows exclusively focused on the Parks and Rec industry. Aspirationally, we're here to create a broadcast network similar to like you would see for ESPN, but on all things Parks and Rec. We have a special guest today, which was referred to us by another special guest, a two-time, maybe even three-time. I think Gabby Vera was on the show a couple of times. She was one of my earliers, and I remember way back in that conversation, she was probably like my first 100 episodes. She was bragging on Marcus, saying she has a really good superintendent. And so we finally got around to getting him on the show. And so we get to talk about his journey into it and what's it like being a superintendent over at Lake Havasu, Arizona. Lots of great stuff happening in the great state of Arizona. Hopefully we can pull off attending their state convention this year. If not, we're definitely going to get him in the pipeline because I hear so many great things, and we've had a lot of great guests on the show, on a couple of our shows from Arizona. All right, so let me go ahead and go through the lineup just to kind of get everybody on the same page. So this show is called the Leadership Series. It's our original show, mainly just to highlight the careers and the whys of the leaders in parks and recreation across America. Started out Monday through Thursday, but thanks to the legendary Jonathan Skinner, we're going to pick up Friday as all 5 days of the week, having a 12 noon show all on leaders of Parks and Rec. But at our 1:30 time slot, we have a full slate. On the second, actually, we have Amelia coming up in June 1st is going to have the first Monday of every month. We're going to talk about software in Parks and Rec. And then on the second and fourth Monday of every month, Dave Ramirez hosts a show called Smart Parks Forward, where we talk about the hardware, all the technology, tying our infrastructure together from a hardware device into the software component, where you can control your entire city from smart devices and stuff. So that's our Monday lineup. So we only got one slot left, that third Monday of the month. So I'm sure we'll get a show scheduled for that as we build out this media company. That brings us to Tuesday. Every Tuesday since the first Tuesday in January, first of the year, Jonathan Prue has been hosting on the front line the Military Rec Show, all about Parks and Rec on military bases. Lots of great stuff there. 300 military bases nationwide. So it's a massive community. And so that's going every Tuesday. Now on Wednesday, we work with Henry County, Georgia, to produce two shows. On the first Wednesday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern of every month, Thomas White talks about neurodivergence and mental health in Parks and Rec and how Parks and Rec plays a role in creating healthy minds in their communities. Followed by the second Wednesday of every month, we work with Henry County, Georgia, to produce a monthly show called The Rec Room, where Henry County, Georgia picks out a topic each month and just brings all the people, all the stakeholders in that one topic, whether it's a 5K or a farmer's market or master planning, and then they just kind of pick it apart. And so you really get to see, kind of pull the curtain back and see how a very well-run Parks and Rec department handles all the little details of all the different obstacles, problems, events that we put on as a Parks and Rec industry. That brings us to Thursday. Our longest running show aside from this show is the Youth Sports Mastery Show with Aaron Locks, who is threatening to do a second show a week because he's so booked out into the future. So if you're into athletics, on the athletic side of Parks and Recreation, and you're big into rec sports, offering all kids of all different athletic levels, this is definitely the show for you. He gets a lot of great coaches, pro athletes, athletic directors, referees. It's just a really good, well-rounded show. And he's such a great host. So big shout out to Aaron Locks for sticking with us since really the beginning. He's one of the first guys I interviewed. And then that brings us to the Young Professionals Network. We have a great show today at 5 p.m. Eastern, all for the young professionals. And big shout out to Gabby Vera and Molly Keys. Way back in the day, they introduced me to the Young Professionals Network. And so one of the ideas we had was to have a weekly show for the young professionals. And so now that's every Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern time. And then the last show of the week, our latest edition, is with Wesley King. It's called The Aquatics Life. And so if you're in aquatics or you know somebody in aquatics, I promise you can watch any of the episodes they produce. They're going to get something out of it. Wesley's dropping a ton of wisdom around all things aquatics. And so that's our lineup for the week, along with a couple other things that we produce with Her Sports, The Athletes Commute. And we also have a newsletter, cooking up a lot of great things. And now officially, big shout out to Jovi, our stage manager. She's uploading all of our episodes to Spotify and eventually Apple Play, so that those that are running or driving and would like to listen to the shows, you can now find a lot of the shows starting to populate on Spotify and soon on Apple Play. So we're distributing the content. That's kind of our job here, is to build the megaphone of Parks and Rec and get these stories out and kind of uplift the entire industry. So with that being said, Jovi, why don't you go ahead and run those 2 promos? And then when we come right back, we'll start our conversation with Marcus.
It didn't start with a big studio. It didn't start with a massive audience. It started with a simple idea. One conversation, one camera, one episode. Back then, DPRS Media Network was just a vision. No guarantees, no roadmap, just a purpose. To tell stories that mattered. Stories from the Parks and Recreation community. Stories of leadership, passion, impact, and the people making a difference every single day. Episode by episode, that vision began to grow. More conversations, more voices, more people who believed in what we were building. What started as a show became something much bigger. A place where people felt seen. A place where ideas were shared. A place where the Parks and Rec community could connect, learn, and inspire one another. And today, we celebrate a major milestone. 500 episodes. 500 stories, 500 moments, 500 reasons to keep moving forward. But this is not the finish line. This is the beginning of our next chapter. In the months ahead and in the years to come, DPRS Media Network is growing into something even greater. We are building something truly special for the Parks and Recreation community. Something designed to bring people closer, to create stronger connections, to open new opportunities, and to continue serving the people who inspire everything we do. We are also expanding our reach through new partnerships, working with organizations who believe in our mission, partners who share our vision for community, leadership, and impact. And beyond the screen, we're showing up in more places than ever before, attending conferences, meeting leaders face-to-face, building connections that strengthen our community. Because DPRS has never been just about content. It has always been about connection. To everyone who has been with us, from episode 1 to episode 500, thank you. This milestone belongs to all of you. Here's to how it all started. And here's to everything still to come. The future of DPRS Media Network starts now.
All right, Marcus, how's it going today?
Really good. Really
Yeah.
good. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah, well, you've got your boss is a big fan of yours. Gabby was hyping you up long ago, so I'm glad to finally get you on the show.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me. I love Gabby.
Yeah, how did y'all met at work, or did she bring you along, or you were already working there at Lake Havasu when she got there? Or?
So no. We both started in Miami-Dade. Some
Okay.
teens. We went to the same high school.
No way.
Yes, our connection actually started at the Parks Department. So
Wow.
I was a summer rec aide, and just starting up, and I wanted to make an impact, with the kids and everything like that. But she was a camper at the time. Like she was more of a volunteer actually, because by
Yeah.
the time she had an aged up, she was a volunteer, and you would think she worked at the park, honestly, because she knew everything. She was like, "Okay, you're gonna go do this." And she was basically one of our leaders in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she had a passion for parks back in 2009 when I was a senior in high school, and just starting my professional career. And we both just loved doing, being that role model to the youth. We
Yeah.
loved doing that, and that's how our connection began. And from there, she was able to start working. Once she got older, she was able to start working, and we were just like team partners. Different things we wanted to do. She's like, "Okay, you do this, I'm gonna do this."
No
So
way.
yeah, oh yeah.
I had no idea y'all went that far back. So y'all are both from Florida and Miami. Y'all grew up there?
Born and raised.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And so what brought y'all, did y'all each individually find your way randomly to Arizona? Or did she recruit you, or you recruited her, or what was the deal?
She recruited me actually. So of course I'm older than her.
You're right.
Like
Right.
2 years, So I stayed with Miami-Dade Parks. I eventually moved up from a rec aide to a manager position. And so but it's very Miami-Dade is extremely huge.
Oh
But
yeah.
if you don't get the opportunities to kind of get out there, and show your face and show that you can be a leader, or you can, fill one of those managerial roles, rub the right elbows. You won't get that opportunity, unfortunately, And while she did get the opportunities to, become a leader, manager, overseeing summer camps and everything like that, she eventually was like, you know what, I'm going to move to the West Coast. So she moved over initially to California. And then from there, she was working on getting her master's degree. She was working as a superintendent once she moved over to Arizona. So she's always worked within Parks and Rec. And I was just still trooping along, trying to see if I could move up the ladder with Miami-Dade. We would always contact each other, throw different ideas to each other. We became friends, as far as personal life, just talking about, things that was going on,
Yeah.
I think most of my friendships have come from working within Parks and Rec. Most of my genuine, authentic friendships have come working with Parks and Rec. And so she moved to Arizona. She was superintendent. I think it was for Mesa or Maricopa. She worked for both of those different departments. And then eventually she got her master's degree and got the opportunity to become the director here at Lake Havasu City Parks and Rec. And that's when she invited me over.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. A huge difference from, Miami.
Oh yeah. Well, for those that don't know, maybe tell the audience a little bit about, because I think that's got to be one of the largest Parks and Rec departments in the country. That's essentially the Miami Metro, the county that is the Miami Metro area, correct?
Right. So that's it's the third largest parks system in the country. Miami-Dade Parks and Rec. It spans all the way south from Homestead all the way up north to North Florida, close to the Miramar area, honestly.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the population there? That's got to be several million, huh?
Yeah, it's definitely in the millions up there.
Yeah. So what's it like working for a big, so what was maybe go back to what was your first job in Parks and Rec? Or maybe let's go even further back. What really attracted you in those early days to kind of dedicate your life to Parks and Recreation?
Okay, so I'm one of those, I have a twin brother. And so we were the epitome of double trouble. So, I mean, we were.
Was he in Parks and Rec too?
He was in Parks and Rec, actually. Yes. So, but we were active kids. We played different sports, track and field, football. Those all happened at the parks. You know,
Mm,
so parks was like a safe haven for us. It was like that lighthouse,
yeah.
where you knew you can go to the parks, you can get a meal, you can get snacks, you can go have fun with your friends, play basketball.
Mm,
So we played Pop Warner football. I was quite the athlete back
yeah.
in my time.
Yeah.
Um,
What'd you play? What'd you do?
so yeah, so I did a little bit of running back, fullback, but defensive end going into
Yeah.
middle school, and then high school linebacker, strong side.
Man.
Oh yeah.
And so you did that through high school? Did you do that? And did you go to college for that as well? Or
So track was my like love. Me and my brothers
oh,
love it. Yeah.
what'd you
So
do in track?
oh man. Okay. So we're gonna get started on track and field. So 400 meters, which is one lap, 49 seconds. The
What?
oh yeah, oh yeah.
That is fast. For those of you not familiar with it, that's anything under 50 seconds, you were moving.
Oh yeah, just a second under. But my specialty was the 800, which is half
Wow.
a mile. I did that in 2 minutes flat.
That's a brutal race.
Oh,
That
it
is that is a long sprint.
Yeah, I couldn't do the sprints because if you're going to do sprints, you have to be, you have to have that speed. In
Yeah.
Florida, Texas, California, if you don't have that foot speed, do not get on the track.
Right.
Do not get on the track.
Yeah.
So 800 meters, 2 minutes flat, and then the mile, 4 minutes and 54 seconds.
Oh my goodness. 454? So you
Yeah,
got it in 5 minutes.
it was really weird because I'd be so swollen big as a linebacker, and then I have to cut that weight going into the track season.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I coached track for 9 years. I coached the throws. I coached discus and
See?
javelin.
Nice.
Yes, I loved it. I was eat, living, and breathing track for a big chunk of my life. So, and I have and we love that 400-meter race because that was like the last race, the 400-meter relay. That's always the last event of the track.
Oh yeah.
And we had to stay to like javelin was the first, and our coach made us stay to the very last event.
Oh yeah, all day affair.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man.
Now, did you ever coach it, or did you coach it all throughout that whole process?
So coming out of high school, like I said, I worked. My aunt, she was like, "Hey, they're hiring at the park. You're always there, and it's for the youth of the community. You should try out and see. Go interview, see if that's something you'd be interested in doing. Because of course, when you get out of high school, you kind of get lost in like, what do I really want to do? So that's when I started my summer as a rec aide in 2009, working, summer camps at Hammocks Community Park where Gabby was there, volunteering, bossing everybody around because she was just that knowledgeable and she was just that passionate about Parks and Rec.
She's been bossing people since she was probably 4 years old.
Man, she's and she likes things a certain way, so you either get on it
right.
you're gonna have a nice little conversation with her about it. So, yeah, man. So I worked a summer camp. Bernie Rodriguez, he was our supervisor at the time. He's still in our lives as one of those mentors that just, constantly, we'll go to him. He's a soundboard. But started off, as a rec aide, working in the summer camps. And we would do different activities. That's where I found my passion and my love. I feel like the youth are our future. So we want to make sure that we pour into them, just be those role models that they can look up to and, be like, what, this is how I want to grow up to be, when I get older. So that's my passion. I love pouring into the youth. I did a little coaching, track and field, because I'm not going to be working for Miami-Dade. There's an entire track and field program going on, and my teams or my kids are not in that program. So I created a few athletes.
Man, fantastic. That's great. I love working with youth sports. I was a cross country coach as well for a while. And I love working with those. I work a lot with the grade school groups, like 5th to 8th grade.
Yes.
It's a fun groups to coach.
Yeah, the characters.
All right. So what was your first full-time job in Parks and Rec?
So actually my first full-time job was not in Parks and Rec. My first full-time job was as a program coordinator for Florida International University. Okay. I'm still working with Parks and Rec.
Right.
And basically it was with the continuing professional education, but they wanted me to try and incorporate different things for the community to come to be involved at for FIU. So, of course, I did a Halloween event. It was a Boo at FIU. Started with a $15,000 budget and made a revenue of $17,000.
Wow.
Yeah, man, and that was me as a young teen. As a young adult. I was 20 years old around that time, and I was going up to the basketball directors and seeing if we could use the studios to create a scare zone. Coordinating with the band to see if they could do a performance. So that was my first experience with special events.
Yeah.
And then that was it for a year, and then that's when I got my full-time job with Miami-Dade as a park manager.
So how old were you then when you got your first full-time job with Miami-Dade as park manager?
Yeah, so by that time I would have been probably 25. I would have been 25. Yeah, so.
All right, so now you're deep in Parks and Rec. What was that? What were those first, how many years were you at that position?
Okay, so that would have been from 25 up to 28, 29. Yeah. So I did that for a few years as a full-time manager. I got moved around to different neighborhoods, different community parts, and that was great because that just made me well-rounded as far as the community and the community's involvement. I did that, and then that's when I got my opportunity to move over into just recreational, because at the time managers oversaw recreation as well as operational. So
so you had to keep the place clean and make sure. Did you mess with cutting the grass, or that was a different crew, or?
No, different crew, but different community-based organizations overseeing those permits and contracts. Lower scale events with the local commissioners, coordinating with the schools, because most parks in Miami-Dade are connected through a joint use agreement or IGA. And so we would utilize their fields after hours for our programs. So after school care, sports development, you name it, or for those leagues, we would utilize their fields.
Now, what were some of the early skill sets that you had to kind of develop as you're acquiring all these skills? I know when you start in Parks and Rec, there's so much that you have to become. And in those early days, you're just kind of, drinking from a fire hose. What were some of the early things you had to kind of get good at?
So I think all of my life lessons I've learned within Parks and Rec, and I'm still learning. So that's, I'm still learning. I don't think I'm there. I know what it is to, be an adult or to work in a profession. Man, I tripped over my feet quite a few times. I had some hard lessons to learn. I think one of the best things that I learned was how to just communicate effectively and kind of problem solve on the cusp. Just because there's things that happen that don't go the way you would like it to go, and so you just kind of have to learn how to pivot and not obsess over why is this not going the way I had envisioned it to go. So yeah.
All right, so now you're 28, you got that under your belt. What's your next move?
Oh man. So I think this is around the pandemic time.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, this is around the pandemic time, and we're just monitoring parks, ensuring the social distancing is happening. So offering hand sanitizer. And I think that was a pretty traumatic experience for everyone.
Yeah. Florida was one of those states that kind of stayed open, or was one of the early states to kind of open everything back up, right?
Not so much for the parks. For the parks, we kind of stayed, but then that's when we had that whole move where, DeSantis was like, yep, let's open up the parks, let's open up certain areas, so then that way we could go ahead and, offer it to the community, because things started to get really, we were all going cabin fever. Yes, exactly. Yeah, man. Yeah. So that was just us monitoring, and that's when I realized, okay, I've done the overseeing like the parks and the maintenance and just the upkeep of parks. I really miss the recreational side, because we're not doing that as often, and the role that I was in as a park manager. So opportunity came on the recreational side as a rec spec. or recreational specialist. And so I was like, oh yeah, I think this is where I need to go. I need to redefine what my passion is. I
Mm,
know that I love working with the youth. I know that I love putting on events for the community. So let me delve back into that, And
mm.
so that's where I had that moment of just like, let me pivot. Let me go back into recreation, see if this is something that I really want to do, and stay in. And that was the move that I needed. I became a recreation specialist. And that's when I started to work with the youth, do different events, do different programs, team programs, just pouring into them and
Yeah,
offering them opportunities.
yeah.
Miami-Dade offered this program where the teens they could apply, and it was through the mayor, Daniela Cava. They could apply to work as interns, and they would get paid $15 an hour.
Oh,
And so,
wow.
yeah, and that was just teaching them job skills, different skill sets for them to be able to, get a job. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So your first job there was more about running the facilities, keeping just operations going, and then this
correct.
new move got you in the programming where you're coming up with programs, you're working with the kids, you're
Yeah,
scheduling the what were some of the people you had to work with? Was it like coaches, volunteers, kids, parents, that kind of stuff?
all of that. So,
Yeah.
coaches, parents, nonprofit organizations, community service, different individuals that need to complete community service, but churches, just working with them, creating different events. I think my passion as well, I love creating things or programs or events from the ground up, like grassroots initiatives. I love doing that.
Yeah.
I love envisioning from start to finish how it's going to go. Programming, like if there's a program that's going to happen where there's performances, artists, getting them involved. So we would have schools as well as churches that would come and do vocal performances. We
Mm.
would have bands or dance teams, and I would be either the honorary
Nice.
MC or the host. And yeah, that's
So
uh,
this is the special events world, which is
yes.
so maybe describe the difference between running special events and running programming.
Okay, so the difference between special events and programming that's going to go for a certain period of time, right? Um, and it's specific to whatever you're going to be offering, whether it's let's say it's a program for teens to kind of offer them opportunities to get community service. So they'll
Mhm.
go and they'll paint walls, or they'll go and they'll help out at a youth center.
Mhm.
You name it. You'll do different activities with them. You might plant some trees at a park, for instance. You might do a dedication where they're there and they're helping assist with whatever's going on. Whereas with the special event, that's more specific to a specific date and for a specific purpose.
Mm.
There's a target audience that you're trying to reach. So then that way, you know, from start to finish of that event, you want to make sure that whatever it is that you're tackling. So I'll talk about an event that I initiated over with Miami-Dade Parks. It was a Black History Month showcase. Uh,
Mm.
it was specific at a park called Sergeant Delancey Park, which is located in a historically Black community.
Mm.
And so I got the local businesses, I got the local churches to come. And on a specific date in March, we would do this entire event where the community center had did local artists that would offer out their art pieces. And then we would have the local churches, the local schools. They would do different performances throughout the entire day. We would have entertainment as far as bounce houses and games on another section of the park. So that's
Mm.
one of the events that I initiated.
What's the biggest special event you've ever run?
Um, well, coming here to Lake Havasu right now, yeah, we've had quite a few big events. Team Break being one of the big events here
Yeah.
in Lake Havasu City Parks.
Is that
Um,
is this your favorite one, or what's your favorite of special event you've ever put on?
I'm gonna have to go back to Miami-Dade as far as the Black History Month event, just because that was something I created from the ground up.
Oh,
Team
nice.
Break has been here with Lake Havasu, but
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So was that the last thing you did in Miami-Dade, or was there some other roles that you took on?
I took on the role as a North TCT, the Children's Trust Program. I took on the role as a area zone manager for the rec sites. So there's about 8 of them in the north area of Miami-Dade, and I oversaw those sites, coordinated different events with them. Yeah, that was the last role I did with Miami-Dade Parks.
And then from there, did Gabby scoop you up from there, or was there another spot for you?
Well, right before Gabby scooped me up, I went to Miami-Dade Sheriff's Department as a community engagement specialist. And so there I was going to the different schools, and I was talking to the teens and the kids about safety, safety with streets, because we were having a big issue with teens being hit. They weren't crossing the street on the right areas. So just kind of going over that data with them and helping them to understand the importance of crossing the street safely, drug use, because that's a big issue even in middle schools with the vapes. And now even in elementaries now, we have, the youth, they're experimenting, and, some of these things are laced.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. And
you got the fifth graders using vapes nowadays?
Absolutely. Yeah, unfortunately, which is terrible, man. And so just kind of educating them on, we still don't know all of the information or the, the effects of this. Scientists, they're still, studying this and seeing how it's affecting you. You're getting direct nicotine to your lungs directly through a vape. So just trying to get them to understand, the effects of that. And that's when Gabby was like, hey, would you be interested in getting back in Parks and Rec? And that's when something sparked.
Was she that nice about it? She probably just said, I booked you a flight to come over here. Pack your bag.
No, she was absolutely nice about it. She wanted me to come over and see how I would like it.
Oh,
this was my first experience in desert.
That's right.
Yeah, but Lake Havasu is a beautiful area. It's unique in that it has this beautiful lake that travels right in, between the entire city, and it's a beautiful haven. Yeah, man.
Yeah. All right, well, we're at the halftime part of our show. Let me go ahead and thank our show sponsors, and after that, I want to dig into what you're doing at Lake Havasu. So today's sponsors, two of our earlier sponsors are Outdoor Link and the National Academy of Athletics. Outdoor Link also helps us produce that Monday show with Dave Ramirez, and Dave is kind of like the head guy across the whole country for Outdoor Link. But if you have a smart home, imagine if you had a smart city. So just like you can control all of your lights and door locks and stuff like cameras, and you're all tied in. Imagine if your whole city was connected like that. And so you can control your splash pads, your door locks, your bathroom door locks, your ball field lights, all that kind of stuff from a centralized location. And you can schedule it. And so that way you're not having to hand out all these keys to the padlocks to the coaches, and they leave the lights on and you got 1,000 keys floating around. So they kind of help solve that problem where you're not running everything on timers and stuff. So if you want to learn more about that, hit me up on LinkedIn, or you can look up Dave Ramirez as well, and we'll help get you connected. And then the National Academy of Athletics, if you've got, say, a great rec program going, and the community wants, say, flag football or volleyball, and you're just not geared up for that, you can basically assign them whatever you want. They'll even do after school care or summer camp. And they partner with Parks and Rec departments across the country to help them run that. And they're really big on rec sports, where you get all the kids from all different athletic skill sets to just participate, because there's so much you learn in youth sports. Even if you're not going to be like some D1 athlete, there's a lot of great life lessons that are taught there. So two really great sponsors that have been with us since the beginning. So Jovi, why don't you go ahead and play those two, and then when we come back, we'll finish up our conversation with Marcus.
In today's parks and recreation industry, communication, safety, and efficiency go hand in hand. That's where Outdoor Link comes in, delivering smart technology that empowers city departments and community planners to do more, smarter. Outdoor Link's platform connects and automates everything that keeps your parks running smoothly, from lighting and locks to signage, water features, Wi-Fi, and digital advertising. Control and schedule park lights for safety and energy savings. Remotely manage facility access. Coordinate fountains and splash pads. Provide public connectivity. all from one simple, unified platform, giving you real-time control, data, and cost efficiency. For parks and recreation agencies, that means safer spaces, smarter resource use, faster responses, and stronger community engagement. And behind every great park story is great infrastructure. That's why Outdoor Link proudly supports DPRS Media Company, helping the daily Parks and Rec show amplify the voices of professionals shaping our communities every day. Outdoor Link, smart, connected solutions for parks, recreation, and beyond.
They say it's just rec. Just rec, where kids learn to try again. Just rec, where confidence begins. Where teamwork, effort, and fun matter more than trophies. It's not about perfection. It's about participation. It's not just rec. It's where kids learn to love the game and themselves. It's just rec until they learn teamwork for life. It's just rec, but it's everything to them. It's more than rec. It's a movement. It's just rec until you realize it's shaping the next generation. Together, we're not just running programs, we're building a culture of confidence, connection, and community. Join us.
All right. So one of the things that I discovered when I interviewed Gabby, and I'm seeing the same thing play out in you, that if you grow up using the Parks and Rec department as a child, you really make the best leaders in Parks and Rec. Because I remember Gabby telling me she actually sees herself in those little 4-year-olds that are in her department. She's like, okay, I'm going to protect them, kind of like people poured into me when I was young, and I had a place to go and I had friends, and it was like a family. So maybe speak a little bit about that. How does it make your job a little bit different since you kind of grew up in Parks and Rec?
So in Miami-Dade Parks, we call ourselves park lifers.
Yeah.
Yeah, park lifers. Growing up in the programs, growing up on the parks, and then getting into the profession of as working as a park professional. And then pouring into those youth that we see ourselves in. So I was telling you, like me and my brother, we were we were rascals. We would be walking on walls, jumping, jumping walls, gates, you name it, just getting into stuff. But we had leaders, park professionals that looked at us and didn't see us as problems, but saw us as just kids that needed to be redirected.
Mm-hmm.
And now today you see that, there's a lot of kids with, many of them have anger. Some of them have, different other elements or things that they're dealing with, and just being able to see that, understand it from your own perspective, and being able to give them that grace, and just, be able to work with them. And that usually gets those kids, those teens, that usually gets them to see you and trust you as a person, and be able to, trust that you'll guide them the way they need to be guided.
Yeah. And so now, fast forward to where we are today.
Yeah.
How long have you been at this position as superintendent?
A year and 4 months now.
So how's it going, and how is that different from your other jobs that you did in Parks and Rec?
Well, man, so it's different because it's a different community, in the sense that, so you have either really affluent, and then you have more impoverished, or just needing more assistance.
Right.
But the great thing about Lake Havasu is that the community, the city, they love to do different events and things, and pour it to the Parks Department to be able to offer so many resources to the community. So we get approval from the city council members on being able to do different events, or being able to get a budget approved so that we can do an event that's free to the public, to the community, for them to be able to come get a meal, go have some fun, just stuff like that. So I do enjoy and love the fact that the city's behind everything that the Parks Department tries to do to offer to the community.
Now, in your current role, are you over all the maintenance, so like the fields, the grass cutters, like it's all under you?
No, so I'm the Recreation Superintendent. There's a Parks
Okay.
Superintendent that oversees that stuff, maintenance, all of the repairs to different amenities. Yeah. So for myself, I oversee aquatics as well as the Recreation Department. So the after school care programs, the summer camp programs, that's under me, my purview. I also oversee the bartenders because we offer a bar at the aquatic center.
Nice.
Yeah, man. So I have
need to relax.
Say it again.
I said those moms need to relax with all them kids out there.
Absolutely. We have a bunch of quinceañeras and parties, community events. The NRA, they come here and they do events. So I kind of oversee those events. And then as far as our athletic fields, I oversee the field allocations to the different leagues. Yeah, so.
Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about, you had something called Mud Races and Color Wars. Is that something y'all did there? Tell me about that.
Yes. So that's a part of our Team Break feature. So Team Break has been going on in Lake Havasu for just about 20 to 30 years. And so I was overseeing it last year because I didn't have rec coordinators at the time. So I had to start playing it from start to finish. So me and Gabby, we game planned. And so I said, hey, how about we do a survivors themed Team Break? So they had the bands with the different colors. We got some color paint, some powder. We got, we had this big, huge mud pit built. We had these different inflatables that they would hide behind. And so it was an all-out war.
Nice.
In the Team Break, we did some flag football. We did some kickball with a slip and slide kickball.
Oh my goodness!
Oh man, it was amazing. Yeah.
Oh, how many people did y'all have attend?
So we had around 120.
And it was mostly for teens?
It was mostly for teens.
All for teens.
Yeah, so they were able to do some kayaking, some paddleboarding competitions. Again, we had that whole color war day. We had a relay race through the actual mud pit. So they were going against that. We had a tug of war in that mud pit area. And I'm talking about this thing was huge. Huge indeed. Yeah.
Whole weekend, or is it one long day, or?
So during the spring break, and it's usually that second week of March, it's that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And from 10 a.m. all the way until 4 p.m., all the teens from the neighborhood, they register and they get to participate in these different activities. We feed them throughout the entire day. And that entails us having to go to the different local businesses, the convenience stores, asking if they'll donate any food. And majority of the businesses do, So, yeah.
Man, what a great idea. Where'd y'all get that concept from? Did y'all build that from the ground up? Or y'all
So if you know the history of Lake Havasu, right? MTV used to operate here.
Really? I had no idea.
Yeah, MTV used to operate. They would have these amazing parties for, the college students.
Right.
So the community was like, hey, let's create something for our teens so that way they're not trying to go to these different areas where the teens where the adults are at and MTV's at, And so that's what the community did. They created this huge Team Break activity that spans over 3 days, and they can eat whatever they would like. We provide snacks, pizza, sandwiches, chicken, you name it, throughout the entire day. And then they participate in these different activities throughout their days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember back in the day, I think it was that Pauly Shore used to run these big parties. Was that all in Lake Havasu?
I believe that was all in
MTV. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
Of course, I was too young to watch all of that. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was something. MTV was that was a big deal back in the day.
Man, big time. And
I don't
so
even know. Are they still running? They still running?
Well, MTV doesn't run anything out of Lake Havasu anymore.
Right.
To my knowledge.
Yeah.
but so the city still puts on different events
Mm.
for people from California, U of A, different college students to come, for them to just have fun in Lake Havasu. So we still have
Mm.
those different featured events.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So now what's kind of different about what you did in Miami-Dade versus working at Lake Havasu? What are some of the skills you had to pick up, and how is it different from running in a big city like that to Lake Havasu?
Yeah. So I would say for me, it's on a larger scale when it comes to Lake Havasu,
Mhm.
simply because when I think about the field allocations, I'm dealing with every single park and the different leagues that operate at those parks. And
Mm.
I'm telling them what days and times they're able to operate,
Mm.
their programs. And so there's conflict with those programs because, everybody wants the best fields and there's very little fields here in Lake Havasu.
Mm.
So, dealing with that was a bit of a challenge. But, like I said, just communicating with them and understanding what they need and being able to then offer that to them.
Mm.
I've been able to kind of deal with that. So, I think the politics as well.
Ah,
Yeah, I'm getting a direct direct line to the different city council members. They'll call my cell phone or they'll call Gabby and they'll
okay.
ask me about certain things like fields or events or the recreational program. And so being able to navigate that, that's something that I'm still learning how
Yeah.
to manage.
So so let's dig a little into your why. Why do you continue to choose Parks and Rec as your career, and how is it fulfilling to you?
I love it. I think that Parks and Rec is unique in the fact that there's so many different things that you can do with the profession. Um, One of the things that Gabby mentioned about, like, let's say you wanted to be a photographer, or you have skills of video, graphic design skills. You can do that within Parks and Rec.
Mhm.
For me, I love the rigor and the challenge of creating different events and navigating those events because you're always pivoting. Something's going to go awry, possibly, and you just got to be prepared and be ready to, step in and do what you need to do.
Mm.
Um, I'm building up staff to be able to feel comfortable to, get to those managerial positions that they're looking to or
Mm.
aspiring to get to. Um, and then, like I said, the political field of it, just connecting with the city council members, that's something that's new for me.
Mm.
Um, negotiating things with the different leagues. I just enjoy the field. Ultimately, it's for the community, and like I said earlier, when I think of Parks and Rec within the communities, I think of it as a lighthouse, and for
Mm.
not just kids, but adults to come to and find something that they're interested in. We offer pickleball for seniors. We offer different classes, cooking classes, baking classes for the different age groups. We have things for mommy and me. It's just I enjoy doing that. I enjoy being able to offer different events, different programs for people of all ages to be able to attend and participate in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now that you've got some exposure to your council members and the political side, how do you kind of convey the message of why Parks and Rec is so essential to its community and the health of its community? Because they're not immersed in Parks and Rec as much as you and Gabby are. So how do
Right.
you kind of bring them up to speed?
So not just about our stories and growing up within Parks and Rec and how Parks and Rec served as a safe haven for us, but we start to incorporate the different stories that we're dealing with now within the
Mm.
Parks Department. Those different families that are struggling, grandparents are taking care of these kids because mom and dad passed away. You
Mm.
know, um, there's a kid that has ADHD, a learning disability as well, and doesn't have the funds to be able to afford being in the summer camp program. We wanted to make sure that that kid had a place to go to for summer, so we paid for it.
Mm.
Um, those different stories a mother who's struggling because she doesn't have the funds. She's just recently divorced. Dad isn't helping her out. Those type of stories is what we let the city council members know, and that's how we get that support. That's how we get that buy-in from them.
Do you ever invite them to some of the events to kind of see what the work that they're
Every
sponsoring?
event. When they get an invite to it, we let them know, and many of them do show up. And so they'll come and talk to us. They say, we love how the event is going. Yeah, we invite them.
Yeah. All right. So help me pitch this industry to these college kids that have no idea what Parks and Rec is, that you can even get a job. Well, probably not you and Gabby, but unless you're a park rat. That's what she told me. She's like, I grew up as a park rat.
Right.
Still, so many college kids have no clue that this is an industry they could work in, and how powerful it is for a community. So imagine you're sitting in front of a group of college kids that are undecided, don't really know where they want to go with their life. What testimony would you give for the Parks and Rec industry?
So I would let those college students know that, there's opportunity within Parks and Rec to work anything. If it's a county that you're interested in, you can work in the county within Parks and Rec. We have budgets that we have to manage. So you'll be able to get that type of experience. If you're interested in events, coordinating special events or things like being a program coordinator, you're able to do that within the Parks and Recreation field. Parks and Rec has just about any opportunity that you're looking for and want to delve into and get that experience. You can use Parks and Rec as a starting position for yourself. You can get that experience, that hands-on experience, and you don't know, you might find something else that you didn't know you were great at within the field of Parks and Rec.
Yes, and maybe even speak a little bit about how in Parks and Rec, even at 20 years old, your day-to-day work can make a difference in your community, because so many jobs and careers, you're like, I'm just making money for my company. I'm not really making a difference in my community. So speak about the impact that y'all are having on your community.
Yeah, so we have a direct impact on the communities that we're serving. Me working in Miami-Dade Parks and Rec, I graduated with a criminal justice degree, but I was working in Parks and Rec, and I loved working Parks and Rec. I loved being that camp counselor, overseeing that program, and parents and kids coming and telling me how much they appreciated the program that we offer to their kids, how much their kids are enjoying it. And for me, that I'm passionate about the youth. I'm passionate about the type of impact that we make in their lives, because ultimately they are our future, and they're going to make decisions. And we want them to have the best experience when it comes to Parks and Rec, because they might become advocates for us. Who knows? You might be talking to the next city council member, the next mayor, and you want them to be a huge park advocate. So yeah.
Oh, I love that. Now, have you attended the Arizona Parks and Rec Association annual meeting yet?
My first time I did last year, and it was awesome.
Yeah. Well, let's brag on them a little bit. Tell us about that, because this is one of the up and coming ones. I'd say it's one of the bigger ones coming up, and I've heard nothing but great things about it. So what was your experience when you went there?
Yeah, man, they had different sessions that they offered at the Arizona conference. They went over different awards and things that are happening over in the different cities like Phoenix, Mesa. Arizona is such a huge state, and so you're able to meet different people that are possibly working at the different tribes, working within the tribes. You have people that are working in I'm missing my mind right now about the places. But like, you just have people, you get to meet different people within the profession, and they get to pour into you of the experiences that they're going through. And then, you get to share your experiences, and that creates that community where you can kind of network and, problem solve and try to figure out ways that you can meet and, get over these hurdles that we're facing within the profession.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right, as we come to the end of the show, I've got a couple questions for you from some of our previous guests. It's kind of a little tradition.
Okay.
We ask our previous guests to leave a question for you. And so I got two questions for you. They're both kind of fun.
Okay.
How did your team do on the NFL draft? Or are you into football? You follow that at all?
Man, I have not followed that. I have not followed the NFL, honestly. After I stopped playing, I was like, I can't watch it. I can't watch it. I
You
know
get
that's
into
terrible,
it?
man.
Yeah. All right. Well, the other question is, and this is a fun one. This comes from Richard Bentley over in Covington, Louisiana. He
Okay.
says, if you're ordering nachos, how do you make them?
If I'm ordering nachos,
What do you
how
put
would I
on,
make them?
what do you put on your nachos?
I mean, I've watched a bunch of videos. I'm a foodie person, so get some tortillas, cut those suckers up into triangles, fry
Oh,
them,
no.
and then put a little seasoning on them, and then get some cheese and just cover it. Get some meat on there as well, some grounded hamburger, and just oh yeah,
Yeah.
peppers, you name it.
What's the food scene like over there in Lake Havasu?
And Lake Havasu, so it's not as good as like Phoenix, yeah, because that's the next place I've been to. Scottsdale, they have like different like food events or food fairs that you can go to and enjoy the different restaurants that they have there. But yeah, I mean, we have our little places. We have Chagroo's. It's a
Uh,
nice brunch area that you can go to, Red Onions and Lake Havasu. So I'm not going to bash them, but I'm from
right.
Miami, so when I think of food, man, I think of like Colombian. I think of like some good old Cuban food,
Oh,
some
yeah.
pastelitos,
Uh-huh.
so yeah, man. I'm thinking of arroz con pollo.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well,
Yeah.
if you're a foodie, we'll have to get you down to New Orleans. That's where I'm at.
Oh man, yeah. I gotta get to. I have to go to New Orleans, man. The beignets. I have to go over there and get some of those.
Yeah,
Some
we'll have to get you
authentic.
and Gabby over here one day, and I'll show you all around. I'll be your host.
Oh please. Oh yeah. We have to plan that.
Yeah. Well, what question would you like to leave for my next guest?
um. What question would I like to leave for the next guest? Um. What's your favorite sport to watch during the Olympics?
I have a feeling I know what yours is. What's yours?
Track and field, man. Track and field. And now one of my favorite sprinters, female sprinters, Allison Felix, she's coming back. She just announced that she's coming back from retirement. So,
No
I'm,
way.
oh
What
yeah.
what race does she run?
So she runs the 400 and 200.
Oh
Now
man.
it's a long stretch for her, but she was a beast. So I
Yeah.
have to believe that she's gonna come back and do some damage.
Yeah. When I
Yeah,
was growing up, the female track team at LSU was just a dominant force.
ridiculous.
I mean,
Absolutely.
they were
Yes,
crazy.
yes, yes, yes,
Yeah, that
man.
was something to watch.
Between USC, LSU, Oregon, those are the top
Yeah.
teams. Yeah, for track.
Oregon always took the distances. They were hard to beat on the distances.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah,
Home of Nike.
that's it. Well,
Yeah,
Marcus, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Tell Gabby I said thank you for introducing us, and we
yes.
may have to get both of y'all back on the show. That way, y'all can go back and forth, and I'll just kind of stay out of the way.
Oh, that's a show right there, man. I would love that, Craig. Absolutely, I would tell her.
Fantastic.
Yes,
Well, yeah,
sir.
appreciate all the hard work you're doing, and thanks for dedicating your life to Parks and Rec, man. You're making a difference,
I
and really
appreciate
appreciate the role model that you are for all these kids. I know they're looking up to you, and that there's probably a bunch of Marcuses that are 4-year-old that are looking at you and
it.
saying, "I
Yeah,
want to take your job one day."
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely, Greg. I appreciate you having me, man.
yeah. Have a great rest of your week. Thanks
You as
again.
well. Take
Yeah.
care.
Bye. All right, so that was another great show. Thank you so much, Gabby, for introducing us to Marcus. I see why you recruited him. He's got a lot of great energy there, and you can tell the love and the joy he has for the job that he does. And I think this goes back to some of the best Parks and Rec professionals were little kids in Parks and Rec, and so they know what it's like to be a child of a single mom, or where your family really is Parks and Rec, whether it's after school care or summer programs. And both Marcus and Gabby kind of grew up in Parks and Rec, and it's so great to see that now they're leaders in Parks and Recreation. And I know a lot of the Parks and Rec professionals understand that just like Marcus said, you might be coaching a little fifth grader that's going to be the next mayor or the next Park and Rec director, and so you want them to be good advocates for it. So you want them to have a good experience when they're children in the Parks and Rec system. And so really appreciate you coming on the show today, Marcus. All right, so hang tight. We've got today's Thursday. So Thursday is the Youth Sports Mastery Show with host Aaron Locks, sponsored by the National Academy of Athletics. That's going to be starting here in about 30 minutes exactly. So go grab another cup of coffee and hang tight, and we'll see you here in a bit. Thanks a lot, guys. Love you. Bye.
In the parks and recreation industry, attention is limited, but influence is everything. Every day, thousands of parks and recreation professionals make critical decisions. Decisions on infrastructure, programs, technology, and vendors. The question is your brand part of that conversation? DPRS Media Network was built to answer that question. We are a dedicated media ecosystem focused exclusively on the parks and recreation industry in the United States. Through a network of daily and weekly shows, we inform, connect, and influence this audience. Our distribution spans multiple platforms: LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, X, Instagram, plus email campaigns, newsletters, podcasts, and live event coverage. This is not a single-channel strategy. It is a multi-platform media engine. Today, our network reaches over 214,000 connections, including 51,000 on LinkedIn, 64,000 on Facebook, nearly 40,000 email subscribers, and thousands more across podcast and social platforms. While some audiences overlap, our true value is not just reach, it is relevance. We speak directly to parks and recreation directors, program managers, and industry leaders, an audience that is highly targeted and actively engaged. Through DPRS Media Network, your brand integrates seamlessly into this ecosystem. Through sponsored show segments, targeted advertisement placements, podcast features, and host-read promotions, even custom branded content. Not as interruptions, but as part of the conversation. And we don't just operate online. We attend over 15 major parks and recreation conventions each year, reaching more than 24,000 professionals in person. Through live shows, interviews, and on-site media coverage, we position our partners at the center of the industry. Every piece of content we produce is amplified across our entire network. Multiple shows, multiple hosts, multiple platforms. Your message doesn't appear once, it multiplies. This is more than advertising. It is strategic positioning within a trusted media network built specifically for the parks and recreation industry. If your goal is to reach decision makers, build credibility, and stay top of mind, then it's time to partner with DPRS Media Network. Apply for partnership or sponsorship today. Let's position your brand where the industry is already paying attention. Are you a vendor, brand, or service provider ready to connect with the heartbeat of local communities? At DPRS Media Co., we tell the stories shaping parks and recreation across America. Through podcasts, live streams, videos, and newsletters, we reach frontline leaders, city directors, and decision makers every single week. From youth sports and facilities to programming and policy, our audience is your audience. Sponsoring or partnering with DPRS Media Co. puts your brand in front of the professionals who build, budget, and buy for their communities. Launching a new product, growing your presence in public spaces, targeting cities, counties, or departments, DPRS is your trusted media partner. Whether you're in software, turf, aquatics, robotics, smart cities, or special events, partnering with DPRS puts your brand in the story. With commercials, interviews, social campaigns, newsletters, and live shows, we're your media team. Partner with us and grow your impact in the $200 billion parks and rec industry. DPRS Media Co. Stories that move parks and rec forward. Your audience is here. Let's meet them.